Radio check. There.
Hello, everyone. It's Chelsea,
and Melissa.
and welcome back to a race recap. This time we are covering the Dutch GP, and we have many things to cover, so I would love to get into it and start with Esau.
Well, if you've been living under a rock, you've heard very early on into the week that Isak actually broke one of his hands or like wrist. He does do boxing.
It was his
he likes
wrist.
boxing. Yep, he broke it boxing. Don't know how he did it or anything like that, but
How are you allowed to
Chris-
box as an F1 driver during the season?
right.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah. Moving on. Anyways, so Liam will be racing. He pretty much essentially raced in place of Isak, and then Yuki was driving the racing bull. It's so confusing with the bulls and the racing, the red, and yeah, all that. But we're gonna get into it because like later on, it'll make sense. But like when I first like saw who was like where Yuki was gonna be placed, I was just like, so why is Yuki like shown that he's the Red Bull reserve? Like, what's the point of the V carb one then? If they're, I don't know.
No, I think you make a very good point, but I think we've talked about it like in our other
Mhm.
show in the past, but V-Carb and Red Bull have way too much freedom between their teams and
two.
what they're able to do, I think, sometimes. I do
Mhm.
understand they probably thought Yuki couldn't handle the Red Bull car.
Yeah.
And maybe they just thought Liam would do better, which not really, which we'll talk about. But that's the only explanation I could understand them doing.
Yeah. No, I agree. Because, like, even Chris, like, said in a way where it's like, these are the new generation cars. Like, I didn't think about that with the regs and everything like that. So I was like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. But I mean, I don't know. It's just at the same time, it's like we complain about this, but then like Williams and Mercedes kind of did the same thing where like Lewis
Yes.
was out sick and then George, so it's a double-edged sword, I feel like, because sometimes it's just like, well, like it's just a blurred line. That's all.
It's like a cherry pick situation very often.
Yeah, exactly.
Which,
Yeah. I don't
that's
know.
how they get away with it.
No, this is not really like breaking news, but essentially this is the last F1 race weekend in Zandvoort for pretty much the foreseeable future.
Which I want to say, I looked into like why they weren't going to continue doing it, and apparently it's just because the owners of the racetrack property just don't think it's profitable enough.
Which is so
And-
interesting.
Right, because it's one of the, how do I say this, like one of the more exciting to me races,
Yeah.
I think.
And
So
I think
was
it's like one of the more
surprised,
affordable ones too.
which maybe is why they weren't making as much money. I guess if you
Mhm.
compare it to like Miami, where this guy, he says that F1 weekend brings in more money than the whole Dolphins season. I know the Dolphins aren't the best. Besides the point, though, they're still making more off one weekend, or let's say one
Mhm.
week of Formula One compared to months and months of football. Yet, Dutch, what I think is one of the biggest ones not making it. I wish they would have just maybe upped their prices. Like, I actually would have allowed that, as a fan. I would have been okay with that if it meant you were going to keep it on the, race.
Calendar. Yeah,
Yeah. Sad to see it go.
exactly. I
I
agree.
don't know.
But they are bringing other tracks at least, so
Yeah, and I
'Cause
mean,
we
that's
got the
also kind of
Portugal one.
exciting too.
yeah. So
Double-edged
we'll see.
sword. Double-edged
We'll see.
sword.
Mm-hmm.
Something else that happened this weekend, kind of breaking news. They're not the best team at the moment right now, but Cadillac did get a new boss. They let go of their team principal and they brought, I apologize for my pronunciation, but Marcin Budakowski. He's a former Alpine executive director and FIA official, so they're kind of hoping. This was the explanation that they gave. Apparently, it was a mutual leaving for the other team principal, and it's supposed to be that he was supposed to set it up for the first half of the season, and now this guy is supposed to push them towards like a more competitive ending of their season.
Interesting.
I'll see how that works for them because
Yeah.
it's not going very well.
Yeah. I forgot about those news. Every time I see them, I'm like, oh yeah, we have Cadillac. But the explanation kind of makes sense, but at the same time, I'm just like, how
It was just interesting
attainable
to
is
do it
that
like that.
goal? Yeah, it's we'll see. Because every time it just feels like either one of them or both of them DNF at some point of the race, and it's just like they're just like testing for funsies. But in driver team news, it was announced that Alex and Carlos both extended their contracts with Williams. Alex, I believe, was just for 2027, and then Carlos was just for like an
I think they're
undisclosed
both
amount
just
of years.
2027.
Yeah, no, Carlos got multiple years, I think.
Did he?
Yeah.
ASMR. Contract. Oh my god, multi-year with no
Yeah.
mention of date.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
like that they do that.
Me neither. And I feel like most of the time it's just like 2 years. So it's just like, why not say 2 years?
And also, why give Carlos that and not?
Right.
Oh,
And
wait, 3 years.
right. Mm-hmm.
No, I think it is 3 years.
Oh, it is 3 years.
Like,
Okay.
I think the article I'm reading says 3 years.
Ah, okay. But allegedly, Carlos is also getting an extra $30 million per
Yeah,
season.
because he needs that.
We all do. He needs to get that ring for Rebecca. He's
I love when Oscar just comments on everyone. Congrats! Exclamation point. Instead
right.
of Alex.
It's
Alex
like
got
that.
2.
Congrats.
2 exclamation points.
Exciting.
But speaking of Alex, I'm happy that they're secured. I feel like this is gonna
Mm-hmm.
help them mentally. I think they're gonna be able to work a little better on the car and just focus on that now instead
Yeah.
of like the future, which obviously would be
Mhm.
daunting. Also next year is the 50th anniversary of Williams in Formula One, which
Oh.
I was confused about because I thought Williams had been there since like the first season of Formula One, but I don't
No, I don't. Yeah.
know
Interesting
how that
though.
works. Next year's 50th anniversary apparently.
That's exciting for them.
And then last contract extension is Max until 2030, which kind of shocked me considering how he has not really said great things about like staying with the team. I feel like he's constantly like, yeah, I might leave.
Yeah. He's just so
So
like
I'm just going
casual
to
about
assume he
it.
has another clause in the contract.
Yeah. He probably has like another one or more now. But I think like, and it's funny because like I mentioned this like on threads where it's just like these announcements were like too like groundbreaking, and like I was just like, yeah, I think like until like someone like him or like Lewis, I wouldn't say include Fernando just because I don't know if any other driver would want to drive in the Aston Martin. I can see maybe like someone from like the other series like moving up into that.
Yeah.
Maybe. But until like we get like a big like move again like a Lewis to Ferrari or like someone retiring, like nothing crazy is gonna really, I think if anything everyone's gonna either be like extending or just yeah.
I agree.
That's my
I
guess.
was kind of thinking about it while I was looking at your notes and then the notes I found
Mhm.
online. And the only team that I can maybe see having switch ups, if you will, is Audi and
Mhm.
Cadillac next year.
Yeah. Exactly.
Maybe.
I think they're the only ones that don't have. No, Alpine hasn't announced their 2 drivers yet, but I'm pretty sure Pierre is going to be one of them.
I'm sure Pierre is safe, especially because
Yeah.
he was driving. He's been driving well lately, including
Mhm.
this weekend.
Yeah, I
So-
agree.
But we'll get
agree.
into that.
Exactly. And of course, we did have some livery and helmet going into the weekend. So both Red Bull drivers did have special race suits for the weekend. To me, it was kind of giving like a water surf suit type vibe. I like the orange on the side, but that's about it.
Yeah, they never go
I mean,
too
yeah,
out
I
of
was
their
say
way.
something special, but I like the orange on the side. It was cool.
It's giving a little bit McLaren. I did, however, like the helmet that Max brought. It
Mm-hmm.
really had like this kind of blue flower design.
Yeah.
Sorry, I feel like I just skipped like a record for a second there. But the only thing I don't like, and I understand it's branding, like whatever, is the Red Bull logo is so big so often on their special helmets. And I understand it's branding, but I wish we could just shrink it a little bit more to put more of the
But also
artwork
we
out
have it like
there.
at the front and then like
Everywhere.
So everywhere.
I
At
feel
least
like
like
it
the
could be
Heineken
brought down a little bit more.
yeah, at least like the Heineken, like they changed the color to like match. I'm looking
Well,
at
they
it right
changed
now. Like,
all
on
the
our doc.
logos.
Yeah, except for that one. So it's like frustrating. It's
Damn,
like,
it probably would have
why?
looked so badass too. Now that I'm like
I think it
imagining
would
it.
have looked a lot cleaner and everything.
Sadness.
Missed
But I did
opportunity.
like Esok's.
Mm-hmm.
He took the opportunity. His was so funny. His was a drawing of, I want to say it's almost like a graffiti artwork,
Yeah.
but of him breaking the trophy from last year with like his little cartoon face, like I want to say heating up, like red from breaking it. I mean, everything's in blue, but it just looks like the face is blushing.
I forgot
it's
he
so
got
funny.
podium last year. That was like his first podium.
Is it bad? I forgot to until I saw the artwork.
No, it makes a lot of sense because I was like, why is he breaking something? Because it looked like ice cubes to me when I looked at the picture. But I do
It's so
love,
valid.
like, I've mentioned it in like the past before, but like, I think like one of my favorite details of his helmets is the fact that he has like always like some sort of like quadratic, some physics, some mathematical formula for his dad because I think his dad's like a physicist or something like that. So like,
Something in STEM.
something in that. So I'm could be totally wrong. Don't hold me for it, but I do like.
I
that,
think
that
you're at
little
least
detail.
like 50% right.
I'm there. I'm somewhere in there.
I think you're like 50% right because I do know it's always for his dad, and I do know it always has something to do with his dad's like career studies.
Job, yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I do love that. So many of these
It's
drivers
cute.
are so cute with their daddies. It's so nice. Okay, last helmet. I wish Meg was here to talk about. Lando had a beautiful holographic helmet. It was designed by I probably am saying this wrong. Jens Munzer Designs. Apparently, she's done other helmets, including like all the way back to Sebastian. So that was cool to learn.
That's cool. I really liked it. The like inverted and then like the holographic like little like blobs.
Yes. Do you know what it reminds me of? I don't know if you used to get these when you were little. It was like a black artwork and then you would scratch it off and then the colors would come out. That's exactly what this reminds me of.
I love that. Yes. We need to find like a picture of that and be like
this is what we're talking about.
Yes, literally that. I loved those growing up.
It was very fun to see, though. I loved it.
Yeah.
That was the first thing it made me think of, but I was like, you know what? That's so creative.
No, it's really cool. Yeah, it's really creative. I really liked it. It's a really nice like clean helmet. I would have loved to see what like
exactly
about it. Now, this weekend was a sprint weekend, so you already know what that means. Just one free practice session, and then we just go straight into the sprint stuff. So free practice one, nothing like essentially like too crazy. I didn't watch it. It was like early in the morning, but it did rain before the session, so the track was wet, but ultimately Kimi did get P1 with Lando and George behind him.
I will say it was nothing exciting. Kimi did have a spin, so I love that he was still able to get P1. Mostly just some people eating gravel, which happened during sprint quali too. I'm not sure. Maybe it was because the track was kind of slick. Yeah. But that was really only like noticeable things that were happening. Oh, and Max almost hit the wall. I think.
Yes. I think I remember seeing that one, yeah.
That was foreshadowing. Just saying. But I will say during sprint quali, I did have a great time seeing George past Lando and Kimi. Just because I was so invested in what was happening between them three that I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Cool. And I was so invested in Lando and Kimi. And I'm just like, this is so good. And then all I see is Russell on the timesheet.
P1.
Yeah, and I'm like, did he just rip this?
Yep. Yeah.
So that was, you know what? I respect it because that was so funny. I was so focused here on Lando and Kimi. I'm like, hell yeah. And I'm like, wait, What did he?
He came. He literally he like comes out of nowhere. Sometimes I feel like.
I know he's like a little tiburon. Just like
Yeah. You just hear like the but yeah, George ultimately did get pole for the sprint race with Lando in P2 and Charles in P3. The sprint race, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I had a baby shower that day, so I was getting ready for it, so I didn't watch it live. But I
it's so
did
funny.
see people complaining about it that wasn't like really like anything exciting, like not worth it. Um Essentially I saw the this could have been an email meme with like Lewis Hamilton. Just like I gotta find that meme and send it to Chelsea too. But at the end, George did get P1 and Charles and Lando did switch around. Charles P2,
Yeah,
Lando P3. Yeah.
I I saw the race. I always watch the races after. By the way, like I don't really watch these when they go. But honestly, the only exciting thing was Lando and Charles racing. That's really it. Because Kimmy played it safe, which I do
Mm-hmm.
appreciate. I think sometimes he can be a little chaotic on track. I've talked about this, and you can tell that if he wanted to, he could have driven a little
Mm-hmm.
crazy. And even the announcers were like, "Oh, look, he's playing it safe. He has 50 points ahead." And I was like, "Yeah, that's
Yeah.
smart."
Yeah.
And George was like in the lead, I think, the whole time. There was like maybe after like lap 13, he started slowing down, and like I thought that Lando or Charles were gonna have him, but he kept his pace the whole race, so it's not very
Yeah.
exciting.
And I think that's the issue with like sprints too, is like you could get like it's there's potential for like a decent race, but the fact that there's like no pit stops and then like some drivers just are just not willing to risk it because then like in a
Right.
few hours there's quali session, so like there's really no point and all that's not, I don't want to say like really no point, but it's just like it's not worth the
That's
risk.
kind of no point.
Yeah, there's no point
Like
in
the
like
points aren't
risking
worth
it.
it.
Yeah, yeah, it's a yeah, pretty much. So I yeah, but of course we turn around a few hours later and it is quali. This is such a fascinating like stat, and I have to mention it. Lance is literally one, yes, one, uno, un, one singular, one more Q1 elimination from hitting 100 eliminations from the first quali, for the first session in each quali session that there
Right.
is. And unfortunately for him, he's the first one to hit this milestone, which I think it's a milestone that no one wants to achieve.
What I don't understand is they were supposed to have all these upgrades.
Right.
Where are they?
Right.
I will say though, I always this kind of like bad, but I forget about Audi sometimes. I know like the drivers are there,
Mm-hmm.
but I forget that the team is Audi, and I
It's
hear
like
their
you're probably
name,
like,
and I'm like, oh,
yeah, oh yeah.
literally happened to me during quali. I was like, oh, forgot about him being in that team.
I, I just think about Hannah's boo. That's all whenever I see Audi. So shout out, shout out.
It's so
But I
funny.
do want to say the guys that were like subbing, like Liam subbing in for like Isak and then Yuki like
Mm-hmm.
being like driving it, they were definitely like, at least Liam for quali was definitely like making a name for himself again because he did get P8 right behind Max. I do have to say it's pretty impressive. I mean, but Liam
Yeah,
has been doing pretty good in the racing pool in general, so
I think while they're definitely not in the top of the grid, they're not doing the worst this season compared to some
mm-hmm.
other teams. They're definitely the more consistent ones.
Yeah. And
So
that's
that's
true.
nice.
They're pretty good midfield team.
Right. So I do appreciate that two of them are not rookies per se, but like very, very newbie.
Mm-hmm.
Limvad and Aesop. That's
Well,
impressive in
Limbat, this is
itself.
his yeah, this is
His
his
first
rookie
year.
season. Yeah.
And then this is Aesop's second
Esau's
season?
second. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's to me that's really impressive because you still have some drivers that have not left the back of the grid. They've been here for a
Mm-hmm.
while.
Mm-hmm.
Um I will say during quali McLaren and Mercedes, I love watching you. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I did think for just 1 second, literally not more than 5 seconds, that George was
Mm-hmm.
gonna pass Lando. But it basically just ended up being like a Merc and McLaren sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was very fun because
Yeah, I
I
think
feel like they've been racing very well
they've
they were racing very well this weekend.
been. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think McLaren, like, once they brought those upgrades and everything after the summer break, like, now it's starting to, like,
Sure.
show. Um, but I think even Lando, I think if I read correctly, he got pulled by, like, a quarter of a second or something, like, something insane. It's
Oh, that makes so
why
much
it's
sense.
so crazy, like, how close, like, these drivers,
Push it.
the speeds. But yeah, Lando did get pulled. P2 for George and P3 for Kimmy, and then of course, like Chelsea had mentioned, it was like essentially, yeah, McLaren
It was
sandwich.
McLaren sandwich.
Yeah.
Um, but I appreciate that. Now, starting the race day, it really kind of wasn't looking good for Cadillac. Checo had to start from the
Hmm.
pits because there was changes to his car in Park Ferme. Caddy, I hope it gets better, especially with the new guy.
Yeah. Um.
They'll
Caddy,
get
caddy,
there.
caddy. They'll get there.
My dad's
I
praying for y'all.
I would say I really want to root for them, and I really want to like get it's just their merch with Tommy's so nice. That's honestly why I just want to get. I just want to. It's the drip. But yeah, please. I hope it does get better. I think I'm giving them grace this year and next year, just because again, it's a new, they're a new team. They need to get their footing in. That's all. Oh, and they're also another team that don't have both drivers yet.
Yeah,
I just remember.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's not really on
We'll
the
see.
drivers, I think, this year.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We still have a few more races left, but the drama in that first lap. There's so much to talk about that happened in this first lap of the race.
I was just very shocked.
Honestly, yeah, seeing Max crash out right at the last corner of the first lap, like I felt like it was just like so not like him. It was his car was insane to look at afterwards.
Literally, when I looked up, it was him ending the first lap, lap two starting. And I was like, what a way to start your day. A wing flying in the air and a headache because I'm sure he got bruised because on his cameras you can hear him cursing as he's like crashing.
Mm-hmm. And like
And
even
it's
then, like you can see like when he's spinning out, like he doesn't let go of the wheel, and like you know you're supposed to like let go of the wheel.
he did not. He like stiffened
Mm-hmm.
almost.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, someone mentioned something about a greasy circuit. One of
Huh.
the commentators.
Interesting. Did it rain that
So,
morning? I think it did. No, I don't think so.
I mean, the road still looks slick. I don't know if it was rain.
Yeah. I wonder if
Maybe.
like humidity has anything to do with that, because you know how like the track is like near a beach or like by a beach.
Possibly. It also could have just been like a fast rain, like that happens here in Miami all the time. There's like
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes of pouring and then it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
It's
he
just it
definitely
was
had a
insane.
wild spin out.
Yeah, it was crazy. So much that a red flag was brought out. But luckily he is okay. That's the most
Yeah.
important part for me. It's just like, but it just sucks because like this is his last home race.
It's the last chance.
Yeah, and to go out that way is just. But we've seen it before with other home races, so he won't
I don't
be the
know. I really
last.
felt bad for the guy.
Yeah, yeah. It's just again,
I hate that their first response for a driver after they crash is to say, I'm sorry. It's like, are you okay
right.
first?
It's just
Don't
like let us
apologize.
know you're okay. It's okay. Like please. There's a reason why there's a budget for these type of things.
Yeah, especially Red Bulls. They're good.
Yeah. But in the chaos of Max spinning and crashing, like you don't really see this until like they show like a bunch of replays. But you see Bortoletto literally spin on track too. And dude, the reflexes of these drivers, especially of Nico in this situation, that man almost T-boned him. Cause he like if you watch like the replay, Gabby's like spinning, right? And then like Nico's just like kind of like on a prayer, just like on instinct and everything like that, and just like going forward. And like as like Gabby's like finishing, like Nico goes through like the smoke, and you see like Gabby appear, and he's just like, oh, and like move, and it's like, oh my god.
honestly, he's an absolute legend because of the save. He had
Mm-hmm.
to go through all that smoke, keep driving. You hear him come on the radio. He's like, could have been a T-bone.
Right.
Like,
Right.
it was
That man.
very just impressive to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Mm-hmm.
Bortoletto was able to keep going, so good for him.
Good for him. Yeah. I think it's just, who knows? Two drivers spun out. One of them was out. Could have been
Some
worse.
sad shit.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do need to talk about George's terrible start.
Yeah.
That he literally just like, I don't even know what to call it because like I'm not a car girly. I literally just like watching these cars drive. But like I guess like he stalled out. I don't know, or I don't know. He just like slittered, like did something for like.
What the term is, but the thing is he started the race automatically trying to defend from Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
And he like didn't take into account the other three cars around him, which we've talked about
Mm-hmm.
before. George is very singular, I think is the word I want to use, and he has a habit of racing against one person at a time.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to explain it instead of like racing against the three other people. So he was so focused on Oscar that, I mean, you say it best, like
It's a domino
it
effect.
caused, yes. So after that, I want to say it almost lasts for like 2 laps where it's just funky driving
Mm-hmm.
on all four of them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, because like in that
his
like
fault.
Charles like yeah, you used to literally see like Charles like trying to like kind of like push his way into like in between like Oscar and Lewis, which ultimately like he touches one of them. I forgot which. It was a lot going on. Too much.
I don't know. There's like this meme of this guy. He's wearing glasses and he's from the show, and he's like, "What is this?" Like just shaking his hands. And that was me watching Piastri and Charles racing because they were going very close to one another.
Mm-hmm.
And Piastri gives me a little anxiety.
Yeah. I
He seems like the kind to accidentally hit someone.
I feel like he's just gotten, I don't want to say like, I feel like he's always been like aggressive with his driving style, but like I feel like just recently, like he has nothing to lose right now. Like he's not fighting for a championship.
He does not. Yeah.
So I think he's just like, I'm just gonna like, I don't know,
Push
do what
it.
I do, right? Yeah. So, because he's only had like a podium finish so far. I think like one so far this
Once.
season. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But famous team orders came into play later in the race from
I know.
Mercedes. It was so interesting. I actually didn't see this because I did map at one point. It was kind of, the race wasn't too like exciting for me besides like the first lap stuff. At one point I was just like, I'm getting tired right now. It was early though, so understandable. But essentially like I was reading online that Mercedes ordered George to let Kimmy like get ahead, and giving essentially Kimmy the advantage for more points
Yes.
in the drivers championship, which is like, I just find it very interesting. They decided to do that because both of the drivers are fighting for the P1. Granted, again, Kimmy is like 50 points ahead, but
here's the thing: there was a sequence of events that led up to that it
mm-hmm.
kind of makes sense, which is George
which
wasn't
I was like sleeping through.
right. So Kimmy was losing the rears around like lap 50
mm-hmm.
something, and then after that happened, they had him come in to do a pit stop, and when
Yeah.
he came out, his speed was already over George because he was on soft tires, I think, and
Mm-hmm.
the
They
second
already
they
like
saw
warmed
that,
up, yeah.
yeah, the second that they saw that, they told him to switch, and George even asked, he was like, "Is he going for Lando? Like, what are we doing?"
Like
they were like,
he already knew like the game plan. Yeah.
right. So they were like, defend. Who was he defending against? Ferrari.
Yeah,
Yes,
Lewis.
defend Ferrari. And let me tell you something. Kudos to George because Lewis was on his ass. And I was like, George is really trying to save Kimmy's ass right now. And I'm not going to lie, that was really good defending. That was Because Lewis was
shark music right
pushing.
there. That was
Yes.
crazy. Um, dude, I think I don't know what's going on in Ferrari, but there's been like so much discourse like in the past like I don't even know how long it's been, like 36 hours. I don't know. Sorry. I had to do like quick math. um but like in the past like day and a half and about like Lewis Hamilton fans like talking about like Charles and like how Charles is like a type of driver and all this stuff, and people are having discourses about him, and then like I'm just like, what happened? But essentially, like, just like Charles would just started like fighting Lewis, which in turn, like, Lewis had to like kind of like defend himself from his own teammate instead of fighting for the P3 position. I mean, I get it. I mean, I'm a Charles fan, so like, I am gonna be like, he shouldn't have done that and been more like a team player and been like, okay, like, let's just get the most points we can for the team, and if that means him getting P3, then so be it.
Where is Ferrari right now in the Constructor Championship?
I don't know. Let's have a little ASMR moment right now. Let's see. I'm using Chris's Mac, so this doesn't really have. Oh yeah, so Ferrari is in second. So it's Mercedes with 425 points, Ferrari 338, McLaren 263. So there is still like a pretty big gap between the top three teams, even the top four. I would.
So maybe they were
say.
just allowed to compete today
Yeah, I think so.
or yesterday.
Or like race. Yeah, I would guess so. That's my.
That could be the only thought process I have for them racing how they did.
Yeah. So they probably were like, just have fun. But who knows? It was just very interesting because I was just like, at the end of the day,
I just enjoy a good, safe race.
Exactly. But my thing is like these people start gaining like so like these think pieces about like what's going on. I'm like, at the end of the day,
people are parasocial.
Yes. And I'm like, these are just rich men that drive very expensive, fancy cars just to show off on who's the best driver.
And we love to watch it. But it's really, I don't think it goes deeper than that.
It does. It's really not that deep. But we did have some penalties. The only one that I really remembered was Liam getting a 10-second time penalty for a yellow flag infringement. But Yuki barely made it. He did finish P11. I was happy for him. He did finish up there. But I think he did decent. I mean, hopefully hopefully it just gives some of the other teams an eye into some like possible potential in case if they need to like look into another driver. But again, I don't know like how good he has it in Red Bull to stay at reserve. But hey,
I don't know. Yuki is such like a wild card because he is good, but I mean he has already kind of had the opportunity to drive the good cars.
Exactly. Yeah.
So maybe it's just a Danny Rick situation, you know. The time is coming on, but I will say, for his time to have coming on, quotations a little bit, he was giving an amazing mid-grid battle between him and Liblen and Gasly and Nico and even Carlos, who surprised me. I was loving it, all of it. The only thing that pissed me off was Alex and Carlos competing against one another, having some contact. You guys are literally not in a position to be doing that.
Yeah.
Like financially and maybe even emotionally at this point. So like why is that our goal? Compete against everyone else. Leave each other alone.
Yeah, seriously. I actually saw a TikTok earlier where they talked about Yuki and Pierre racing against each other, how they're always like next to each other, and I was just like,
they're like magnets.
Yes, I was like, I'm so happy for them.
So I mean, imagine they're like Well, who knows if they're still best friends, but considering
Mhm.
they were when they were on the track, it was probably a very good nostalgic moment for both of them.
Exactly. Exactly. But we did in total have 6 DNFs. Obviously, the first one being Max, but we did see Ollie, Lance, shocker, Esteban, Valtteri, and Alex ultimately not finish the race. Trust me. Listen, I just
Some bullshit.
ignore me about the Lance hate. I'm just a hater, but take that with a grain of salt. So,
The thing is, I like Lance, but I don't think
yeah.
his heart's in the game anymore.
I really don't think so either.
And that's okay.
And exactly, that is okay.
Now, someone who has their whole heart in this shit, P1 Lando. Where is Meg when you need her? Amazing work, amazing work.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the P2 with Kimmy, also amazing drive, and P3 with George. Mercedes did super well this race. I want to say they did super well almost this whole weekend.
Mhm.
So, like,
It was a grand slam for Lando too, I believe.
But he didn't win sprint.
No, like with the race.
Oh, yeah, he got pole in
yeah.
quali. He just has to also have fastest lap, right?
Yeah. I'm looking it up right now.
Done.
Let's see. Thinking, searching. No, he did not get a grand slam. I was
Rip,
wrong.
he still did amazing.
He did, yeah. He really did. His like comeback is.
I mean, a grand slam is kind of tough to get sometimes. I feel like we just got normalized to it because of Max.
Yeah, that's true. Let me
Max.
see. I'm trying to see what
he had us in a weird season for a bit there.
Yeah. Okay, so standings right now. I agree that. So update before we move on. So we still have Kimmy, obviously, 242 points. Followed by George with 183. He's tied with Lewis actually right now. 183.
I didn't see that coming.
Me neither. And then Lando at 159, and then Charles is just 4 points behind, and then it goes Max, Oscar, Isak, Liam, and Pierre.
Hey, Isak in the top 10 is really awesome.
Yeah, even like Liam and Pierre. Seeing them up
Pierre
there actually,
too. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, seeing the 3 of them up there actually is like pretty cool. But that is the update of the current standings right now.
I will say.
So
I wish Meg was here to celebrate Lando.
I know. We miss her. We love her. She'll be back next time for sure. But it is so long and farewell to Zandvoort. But don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and all that good stuff. We're at Radio Check You there on all socials. And leave us your thoughts from the race. We literally read them all. We'll see you next time at the Temple of Speed. Yes, that's right, Monza. But in the meantime, we have another book club episode coming soon. We'll be covering Firepower by Mir Benitez. And trust us, you will not want to miss out on this one. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Look at the book.